Thank you.
I just want to introduce you a little bit to the people who are going to be watching this. So you have an amazing, eclectic and very varied background as a dancer, a choreographer, singer, traveler, and a woman who's discovered her own body and the power of her sexuality and the particular connection to water. Is that a good description of you?
It's one description of me. Yeah.
So I know that you're here at the festival, Taste of Love, doing a workshop on sacred squirting. Of course, this is something that I and, well, pretty much everyone, I should think, wants to know more about.
Yeah.
Would you be happy to talk about that?
I would be happy to talk about that.
So what is sacred squirting?
So Sacred Squirting is a work I've been developing over, well, you could say a lifetime, but consciously within the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
It's a work on women and their waters. So in the beginning, it was very much about female ejaculation. You know, I was exploring my sexuality.
Yeah.
It came very natural to me. I understood then that it's not happening to everyone, that it's not normal in society to have this.
Yeah.
And I was encouraged to share from what I understand. And of course, as a dancer, I had a strong embodiment practice in terms of my breathing, in terms of my movements, in terms of understanding and sensing what is happening in my body as I go through all of these processes. And so I started sharing. I started researching in terms of what is out there. And I understood that there's very little information out there. And also this made me even more curious, because I see that there's has not been done so much of a study around this element of women's sexuality. And the more and more I dived into the big sea, you can say, I also understood that it's only not happening on the physical. That meant that all the women that I started working with were going through processes of strong transformation. So not only in terms of their sexuality, but also in terms of their spirituality, in terms of their healing old wounds in the wombs, in their vaginas, in their ancestor line. So a lot of things started to emerge as soon as I started to support women in releasing and letting go, in order for this flow of life to come back. So it's really it's really a study about life, you know. Of course, I share my study of life, the way I move through life, the way I connect with water, the way that the water speak and communicate through me, because water communicates. And once we put this consciousness into that water is a communicator of life, of creation, we can manifest things through conscious attention to how we engage in these waters. So today, when I share this work, it's really individual what happens. It's I don't have it's not like a code or a key. It's about tapping in to every being that I work with and their mystery, you know, and to release and unblock any blockages or any memories or any emotional stagnation that might be restricting the flow of life, the force, the life vitality to manifest itself.
So when you're talking about the flow of life and unblocking, so for a woman who's watching this, who wants to understand this for herself and for me too, what kinds of things are you referring to there that might be impeding her connection to the flow of life, and not just to ejaculation, but I guess you're connecting her connection to her sexuality and her vitality with that. What have you experienced or come across?
Yes, you can say that I'm using the female ejaculation as a gateway to enter and speak about something more profound. And I think we live in a very interesting time where women are finding back their access to the source within themselves, and the consciousness that it brings when we allow this source. So so it's really about growing up, actually. It's about growing up. It's about evolution. It's about evolution, evolving as an individual being on this plane, in this world, on this planet. And once you understand and connect with your force within, whether how it manifests itself, no matter how you express it, you find your force, and you start to stand in life and to walk in life with this firmness and this trust that you are being led, you are being guided, that everything is in place, and that you have your place to express all of this, you know.
I get that, and but I'm wondering, are you making the direct correlation between female ejaculation and knowing your place? Are you saying that one cannot be an evolved or awakened woman without that?
No. I'm not saying that everyone should ejaculate even, and this is also not my goal. I have just found this as a very powerful way to manifest things in life and to release what needs to be released. So I see, as I walk around this earth, I meet a lot of women that has not accessed that source of life within, who has not accessed their connection with the earth, who has not yet understood that they are the earth. So how they treat their bodies is a manifestation of the state of the planet. So it brings responsibility, It brings responsibility for yourself and for everything that you share with everyone. And also it's very beautiful because it gives me also an opportunity to connect with women. And this is so potent and so beautiful, the field that can be created when women stop being afraid of each other and their powers. Because also I do this work, and I usually do it for women alone, because I want to create a space where women don't project their needs onto the male body, onto the men. And so
Can you say a bit more about that? Actually?
Yeah. Because of course everything has a reason, everything has a history, and also the way that men are expressing themselves in our society today has a reason. Like the women, why we are expressing ourselves has a reason. And I think for a long time we have been confused. We have been very confused in terms of what is masculine and what is feminine, and how is it actually the same thing, and how can I empower myself? So I understand. I'm here. I'm born in this female body. That's my truth. So everyone has their truth, and I'm not judging that. I think it's rather I would encourage everyone to find their truth, to find their way. But I think it's important that we have some. I wish for soon that the grandfathers would speak up to their sons, and that the grandmothers would speak up to their daughters, because we don't have that today. Oh my God, I've been working and walking a strong path to be where I am today, and it's not been easy. It's not been easy. It's not been easy. But I don't wish to talk from the wound any longer, because there is no need. I rather want to talk from the place of like, wow, 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 what happens in the moment that we allow all of this, that we create all of this together, that we connect in our forces together and create the world that we need to be safe. And then we pray, and then we ask the men to step into their power and to support us. But at the moment, we know that we are guiding the way. And it doesn't exclude. It doesn't mean that something is less true than other. It just means that it's time. It's so much time.
I really feel that in my heart. I really feel. I feel the sadness. I feel the pain.
Of course.
I feel the grief.
Yes.
And the passion.
Yeah.
And the power.
Yeah. And that's because
and the longing.
See? Because that's the way the earth feels. And this was so clear, you know, when I go into to places on this planet where less human beings has been walking, the earth speaks, everything communicates, you know. The spirits are everywhere, and they talk. And they tell stories of how we have been misusing and abusing the earth. Abusing and misusing the feminine. Abusing and misusing the children. Abusing and misusing ourselves. And now we are finally waking up. As a collective body, we are finally waking up. So we are walking towards something very beautiful, you know. I really think we have a beautiful time in front of us. But it's time to not, it's time to speak the truth and to let everything that is not truth die. Yeah.
Totally.
And it's very serious, but it can be very joyful. And that's also, I wish to create a space where it's very serious, because it's a serious matter. But I wish people to feel safe and to you know, have joy in exploring themselves and their capacities.
Yeah. I'm very moved by what you're saying. I feel the truth of what you're saying. My whole being. And it's really interesting because I started out, you know, I understand everything you say, resonates so much, and I started out on the level of, oh, she's doing the workshop on sacred squirting. I want to know about that. I want to tell everyone about how to squirt, right? And we've gone so beyond that into something far more profound and meaningful. And that's wonderful. It's like London. It's Nottingham.
But it's everything, it's also to understand that everything, it's all about intention. You know, you can do anything if you bring the consciousness across. If you understand why you're doing what you're doing and what you wish to communicate with what you're doing. And sexuality, of course, is a key. And why is it a key? Because at the moment we've been living a long time restricting this force. Out of fear, out of shame, out of guilt, you know, the list is very long. Especially in terms of the feminine body. So of course you can say the field there is very potent, because it's a lot of restriction. There's a lot of tension there. And once we start to open that slowly and softly and with love and trust and firmness still, it's just amazing what happens. Just beautiful.
I want to ask you just a couple more questions. You said that you spent some time in the jungle.
Yeah.
Where did you go? Where were you? Taking ayahuasca. plant medicine, and that you received, you know, real insight and wisdom at that time. I just wonder if there are any specific openings that you had at that time that feel really important to share.
Yes, So I was guided to go to the Amazon forest in Brazil, and there I spent 3 months, 2 different years with 2 different tribes, learning and studying their traditional way, involving their different plants and medicines. And what this medicine does, it's that it basically opens you up to your own spirit, your own soul, your own consciousness. So that was, you can say it was just a continuation of the path that I was already on. But by opening these doors, I became more awake and aware of these capacities. And of course, this is an indigenous knowledge, you know? It's like ancestor wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to preserve places on this planet that has this wisdom kept. Because we need this wisdom now. You know, we need it. And we need people to find their source and to communicate from that place. So I'm deeply grateful for all the blessings that I've received. And I'm still learning. I'm still walking this path, and now I'm like invited around the world. You know, I'm called, and I'm receiving these invitations, and I go with the flow. I go where my spirit is called to share.
What would you say to someone who, you know, because you've talked about sacred waters, the flow of life, and going with the flow.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people there's fear around letting go and going with the flow.
Yes.
How do we trust? How do we know we're going to be guided? How do we know? How can we let go to go with the flow?
You just have to trust yourself. You have to trust your heart. You have to know that you are already being guided. You are already being guided. And there's nothing to do in such, and there's nowhere to go in such, but to listen, to cultivate this form of listening to spirit, to your spirit. Because that's what you are, you know. Of course, we are here in this flesh, in this form, in this human body, and that's also why it's beautiful to explore all of this sexual, you know, ways that we can connect. But whenever I come to these kind of festivals of conscious sexuality, I just see that in the end, it's about that we as humanity have lost our connections with the earth, with the cosmos, with the universe, and now we are reclaiming and reconnecting. And we do that through connecting with each other, through meeting each other, through planting seeds within each other. And to water these seeds together so that they can flower and flourish.
Yeah, beautiful. If anybody who's watching this would like to know more about you, get in contact with you, how do they do that?
They call me, they find me, they track me down.
You've got a website.
I have a website, yeah. I have a website which is like www, my name, Christine Borch, so just my name, .com.
Okay.
And I also have, I live on an island in Denmark called Møn. Most of the time I live quite nomadically, but I live there in my yurt in the summer by the sea. And I share my work, my study of life there in a space that I call Drømmesalen, which is like a hall of dreams translated. And it's so I'm there, and I invite people from around the world that I know and their studies, and I share from there. And apart from that, I travel around. So just find me, write me an email, info@christineborch.com. You know, you will find me. Yeah. and I will be happy. I will be happy to share. I'm happy to share. It feels good.
So, thank you. That was amazing. Took me to a very deep place, actually. Beautiful. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
And to those of you who are watching, I just hope that you've taken some of the amazingness from this brief interview with Christine Borch. And join me next time on Heart to Heart with me, Shakti Sundari.